Good morning, everyone. We're just getting these alerts off. They're going slow. It is all good. It is Wealth Wellness Wednesday. Good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Bus, live with a guest and two
Sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. Yes, it is Wealth Wellness Wednesday, and it is June the 29th. Can't believe we're almost at the end of June. But today, our guest that we have on is on a mission. We want to welcome to the Two Sisters podcast family, Cassandra Geter. Welcome, Cassandra.
Thank you for having me, Janice.
Oh, you're so welcome. You know, excuse me, in the health and wellness field, we are often met with, I want to say diversions, but difficult situations where we come across where somebody is dealing with a chronic illness. And I know, being a certified health coach, you practice in that area. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I think I'm able to have empathy for those, particularly women that have a chronic illness, because I was there at one time myself 6 years ago. I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes and high cholesterol, and I was able to reverse those both with lifestyle changes. And when people come to me, they have various issues. Some, they want to lose weight, and weight always is a factor when it comes to chronic illness. I've had clients that see a difference just by losing 5 pounds, just by, in their blood pressure. It makes a difference. And also, sometimes they might be on a lot of medications. And of course, with prescription medications, there are always side effects from the medication. So they want to alleviate those things. And so it's all I've found. I've been a health coach for about 2 years now, and I found that diet plays a role in your health, any way, shape, or form.
Wow. So I know that, as we've talked about, and by the way, this is episode number 470. With all these episodes that we have under our belt, we always learn and engage in something new. And we know, for instance, that diabetes runs in our family and different chronic illnesses. So, wow.
Yeah, diabetes runs in my family as well, but you don't have to be a statistic. You can change the way that you eat, and so you don't fall into that family curse, as I like to call it.
Mm-hmm. Right, because Carol Sue and I have been on a mission even before we started podcasting, even before we started Two Sistas. And Carol Sue, I want you to like, when I look at my sisters before and after pictures, I'm blown away. So.
Well, what I think what frequently happens is we don't realize and the value of a picture through your decades, I'd say. And you really, because when I look back at those pictures, I'm thinking, damn, I thought I looked good. And I'm like, whoa, I wasn't looking so good. Not good in the sense of, hair, fashion, or whatever, but in the sense of the healthy look. I was very bloated. And you don't, most people, it sneaks, we talk about that, a few pounds every year, a few pounds every 6 months. And I do know we have seen a rise in the health or people's importance of putting their health on the back burner, especially over the last couple of years. And the excuse reminded me of the excuse that many freshmen would give, that freshman 10, that freshman 15. Well, now, the world and society's like, oh, it was the COVID 25, like it's no big deal. And I look at and we do know that, yes, part of the whole reason for food, which the number one reason is to fuel our bodies, is also enjoyment, is also for comfort. We know those things. Right. But a certain amount of value that you have to put and recognize the behavior with what you are actually fueling your body or just stuffing your body. Sometimes you're stuffing down an emotional issue, unhappiness, depression, can't get out of your own way. So you feel like you're fueling your soul because you're miserable, but you're doing it with the wrong avenue. You're using food as that comfort. And I think most women, and there are a lot of men out there as well that can relate to that at periods of their life. But when you find that you're resorting to food for comfort from an emotional instability that's going on within your soul or within your mind, body, heart, and you find that you're doing that often, and a lot of people don't always know when to key into those points. So, once you realize that, you've got to have a healthy relationship with food, I think everything else kind of subsides. And I think a lot of people don't put the emphasis and understanding that good nutrition really impacts our whole body, because our gut is our second brain.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point, because a lot of emotional eating can stem from things that happen in childhood, like if you were abused sexually or emotionally, or even if you've had a bad marriage, whatever the case may be.
And it does probably impact people more than they realize. And that's why I like the whole thing of the pictures throughout your, like I tell people, go back and look at your pictures. Go back and look at a picture of when you felt really your best and compare it to where you are now. And if you see a difference one way or the other, that's your wake-up call. And I think once you understand that it's not just about eating healthy, it's about gut health as a whole. And healthy is not a bad thing. I think the word healthy has gotten a really bad rap, like, oh, you're just going to eat carrot sticks and celery sticks. No, you can eat good, and you don't have to deprive yourself of any food group. You just have to know, okay, well, today I'm going out for a celebration dinner. I know I'm probably going to eat things that I wouldn't normally eat during the week. So guess what? I'm going to make up for it during my week, and I'm going to schedule, and I'm going to kind of look at what I'm eating the rest of the week and just be mindful of it. But it doesn't mean you have to you can never have that sweet treat or that pasta or that bread or whatever it may be that you really love.
Right. Everything in moderation.
And the other thing that I wanted to kind of go back to is, excuse me, I believe it was, oh gosh, the name escapes me, but we're either feeding a disease or feeding ourselves to be healthy. And I'm not saying that in the proper context, but I think you can kind of understand what I'm saying. And I think and especially if you have diabetes and a lifestyle that is not overall healthy for you, and your wellness is suffering. And I want to go back to your story because I think it's really important. At that time, when you went through your transition, being pre-diabetic, were you on any medications? Like, what was the catapult for you where you said, okay, enough is enough?
Well, basically, I always went to the doctor to get a UE physical, and basically that it was looking at my numbers, because I knew that if I didn't change my diet, then I would be put on one of those statin drugs or Metformin or something like that, or even worse, insulin. I didn't want to go down that route because my husband at the time was living with diabetes, and I saw the pain every day of him having to give himself insulin, and I didn't want to go through that. And he also had high cholesterol. And that right then and there, I made it my choice to make a dietary change. And then after that, I think I found out about health coaching, and that's when I decided to pursue my certification, because I actually was working as a scientist in the lab at that time. Actually, the irony of pharmaceuticals at that particular time. And then I learned more about the industry, that it is a $1 billion industry.
Oh yeah, and then some. Now we also want to make sure that we're letting our viewers and audience know that there are some people that have high cholesterol, that it is your body just generates it, that you don't necessarily, you could do all the dieting you want, but your just body produces it. My husband's one of those where he's lean, but his genes produces it. So
right.
he has no choice. That's the only way for him to control it.
Right.
And that he is more mindful he's not going to eat a bacon cheeseburger every day either.
Right.
You just have to be mindful. And I think once you kind of learn those different tools and understand that healthy doesn't mean, that you're depriving yourself of good nutritional food. Even the word nutrition has a bad name, has a bad rap, because when they think nutrition, they automatically think of limiting your ability to have options in food. And when you understand that, no, there's certain food groups that, even though you've been told are healthy, dairy is one of them. Dairy is probably one of the unhealthiest things that we can eat.
Exactly.
It's also a contributing factor to women and breast cancer. And we've often talked about that, where how ironic is, and this is where the push of whether it's the FDA, the government, whatever it may be, and when you follow the money, that how ironic it is for right now, the cancer industry, and it's an industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad way to put it, but it's true. There's a lot of money backing these different pieces to all of cancer and cure for cancer. And how ironic is that the dairy industry, the American Cancer Society solicits them, to have that pink ribbon on a milk carton, when that's one of the number one things or contributing factors of a woman in breast cancer is dairy. So, and then you're like, you kind of scratch your head and you say, what's going on here? So that is why I think people have to be their own advocate and really educate themselves on, not everyone is the same. We don't look the same. We don't have the same personalities, and we don't have the same gut and health issues. So who's going to be our best advocate? And it's okay to question the doctor like you did. Like, I don't want to be on that. I don't want to take insulin. So what do I got to do?
Right, exactly. Because some doctors will just stick you on medication, but then there are other doctors out there that are going to help you. They can work with you to help wean yourself off of that medication, or not even get yourself on it to begin with.
And I think that is really, honestly, is the missing link in the medical field. And we're not saying that all medicine is bad.
Right.
But, a patient comes in, such as yourself, at that point in time where you were faced with, okay, the doctor's going to put me on maybe a statin and this and that and insulin. For someone to say, no, I don't want to go there, like that takes a lot of courage. That takes the knowledge and the understanding, like, okay, I am where I am with my health, but now let's do something about it. And a byproduct of that is now you went from being a scientist to a health coach specializing with chronic illnesses, people that have chronic different illnesses. And like, that is pretty darn significant.
Yeah, a lot of it had, it's been a lot of changes in these last few years. And basically, after educating myself, like you said, I educated myself. And so I really couldn't see myself doing that anymore, going into the lab and basically helping to work on some type of drug formulation or whatever. The hours, I know family is very important to me. So basically, sometimes you have to put in a lot of hours for that. And every company doesn't care that you have a family at home. They just want you to put in the hours for them.
Oh, yeah.
And so with health coaching, I can make my own hours and still work from home and save on gas.
Your own boss. That's what, we love having entrepreneurs on. What would you say is the number one of all your clients? What is the number one /medical person, what is their number one thing that is really going on with them? Do you see a rise in certain areas or not?
I would say stress, which would make sense because, people are stressed by their jobs. And of course, what's going on in the world, goods are going up, gas is off the charts, and it just makes people, it's very uncertain future for a lot of people. So that puts a lot of stress on.
What do you do? What would you recommend? I know what my mindset is, and when I'm talking to different customers and clients, I know what I say to them is a little bit different. So I'm interested, what do you say besides the obvious to relieve that stress? We know obviously working out is a good way. What would be the number one belief system that you have that you instill in your clients to say, this is how you're going to deal with stress? We're not going to automatically just go to that pill. We're not going to automatically go to, this or that. What is the number one thing you tell them?
Well, definitely self-care. Take time for yourself, whether you just take a bubble bath or you're sitting and listening to music, you go get a massage or facial, whatever, just that downtime for yourself, even if it's just maybe for 15 minutes to a half hour, just some time for yourself. And also, some people like essential oils, like if you diffuse them or you smell them, sometimes that's very calming for people as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those are all great tips. And I think the beauty of working with someone as yourself is that, and I know myself as a health coach and what Carol Sue does with her business and specializing in gut health, like we don't focus on losing weight. We focus on the wellness aspect, that umbrella, and underneath it falls everything else. Because, excuse me, if we don't have our health, what do we have? Yeah, it is so easy to, grab that medicine from the shelf, but as a byproduct of getting healthy, working toward a wellness routine, you end up losing weight.
Right.
I think we need to stop putting the focus so much on losing weight. Yes, it is important to lose weight, especially if you have high blood pressure. Different diseases thrive off of, fat cells, and I think the percentage is still very high. I want to say last time I looked at it, it was like 92% of all illnesses are caused by inflammation. So for instance, when I was very, very heavy, my numbers were kind of like off the charts. And, I took the initiative to okay, like as you did, okay, it's time to take charge. Let's not focus on losing weight. Let's focus on getting healthy.
Right.
And I think even that piece to it is the hamster wheel of the stress bucket, because probably stress is like the top of the chain, which leads to the overweight, which leads to the inflammation, which leads to, all these other things and an unhealthy mindset. And interestingly enough, I was listening to a speaker this morning, and he just kept focusing and focusing. He said, yeah, we can't, like what we've been talking about, we can't control what's going on in our world. And a lot of us like to be in control. We're in control of our time. We're in control of what we stick in our mouths. We're in control of our fun time, our appointments, all that. We're in control. But what's going on in the world, we're not in control, which does impact the household, the individuals in it, whatever the family. But he said, like we've been talking about, put it into compartments and then let it go, and then see the blessings that are out there. That don't imagine what's staring you at the face with all this stress of what's going on. Imagine that none of that is going on. And it sounds bizarre, and it's really hard to train your mind to kind of bypass the negative that's going on in the world. But I think once you kind of get over it and make it a routine, just like any good health habits have to have a good, healthy routine, because the more you do it, the more it becomes natural.
Right.
To validate those things that are bugging you. Of course you do, because you don't want to slip them under the carpet, but then put them to bed for the day, and then just focus on abundance and all the good things that are out there in our world. And once you do that, and then it develops a healthier habit, you're going to find that stress level calm, which is also going to lead to other good health habits with the whole weight and all that other stuff. And it's a combination of balance.
Yeah, and Sandy's watching with us today. She's one of our guests, and she's also a friend of mine. And she mentions that stress is a toxin, and yes. I couldn't agree with her more. It certainly is, because the more we're stressed, the more we release all the different toxins. Like it's just a no-win situation with stress.
Do you find, Cassandra, that like when your clients are like the stressed out, now some people actually reach for sugar, liquid form, meaning the sodas and, just healthy sugary drinks. Some people resort to, the quick grab and go, the cookies, the chips,
Right.
So do you, when you're having that conversation with them, what do you find is their go-to when they're feeling this stress?
Yeah, most people say that they stress eat, like they'll grab the chips and like the sugary drinks or cookies, like you said. And sometimes people go for the alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah.
And alcohol, as we know, can, just kind of turns to sugar and,
Yes.
everything goes haywire. Cassandra, how can our, excuse me, viewers and listeners get a hold of you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I have a free Facebook group called Organically Reversing Chronic Illnesses. And my business website is havefaithandlivewell.com.
I love that. Have faith
and live well.
That's gonna be the name of your first book, just saying.
Yeah, I like that. Have faith. Live well. I love that.
Well, wonderful. Well, Cassandra, we can't thank you enough for being our amazing guest today. And you bring so much insight into the world of different chronic illnesses. And, it was just such a pleasure to have you on today. And we look forward to having you back on again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a great time. It's always great to discuss wellness.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, folks, it is Wealth Wellness Wednesday, and I'm going to do my little sign off and turn it over to, and Sandy says, yes, write a book. You have to write a book.
Yep.
Yeah, my nickname is Sandy.
I'm sorry, what?
My nickname is Sandy.
Oh my goodness. See?
That is, no, okay, so it's because Cassandra, Sandy, okay, yeah. So what do you, which do you prefer?
Either one. I mean, my husband calls me Sandy. So unless we're talking to strangers. My family calls me Sandy. So.
And a sidebar, Sandy, my friend who's commenting and said, yes, you should write a book. Her legal name is not Sandy. And I always forget what it is. But anyways, it's not about me. It's whatever. All right, Janice, get back on the subject.
Yeah, but thank you, Sandy.
Really cute. Well, so it is Wealth Wellness Wednesday, and we talk about having that healthy relationship with money, because the more that you have that healthy relationship, the more that you can do. A lot of people, they like, how do you have a healthy relationship with money? They have a negative connotation. It's just like has to do with paying your bills and all that. You got to look beyond that, because you want to just let that go, and you want to incorporate it with kindness. And how we do that is paying it forward. But it's a little bit different than what most people are used to. You're going to actually pay it forward to an unsuspecting person, a stranger, someone that you don't know. And you're like, in this kind of world, people are a little stressed and a little crazy. How do you go ahead and do that? Well, think about it this way. You are in a grocery store, right? You see that young mom or dad, and they've got, 2, 3, 4 kids. And you can only imagine, as we've, talked about what's going on in our world that we're not in control of, they still need diapers. They still need formula. They need things to help feed their family. So wouldn't it be really cool if they went down the diaper aisle, picked up a box of diapers and opened it up, and there was a $5 bill in it, a dollar bill. See, it has nothing to do about the monetary amount. It's just about the action. Because when you put it out in the universe, the universe is abundance for everybody. There's enough for everyone to go around. It's just about how you look at it. So you could do that at a grocery store. Some people will do it at a gas station. Maybe you're in that line getting your Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, whatever your flavor is the day, and I don't do that. Mine's all about organic tea. However, you pay for the person behind you, or you pay for the person in front of you. Again, someone that you don't know. Go to the gas station, go to any store, but pay it forward. Again, it has nothing to do about the monetary amount. It's about the actual action that you're putting out in the universe, which is going to create a ripple effect, because you know what? You may change the direction of someone's day. At a gas station, you know what? You put in a couple bucks, that's going to defer them, maybe get that gallon of gas that's going to get them 30 or 40 miles, which may be back and forth to work a couple times. You never know how a little action is going to impact in a positive way to someone else's life. So it is Wellness Wednesday. I hope you go out there and you pay it forward. Pay the kindness train forward. We all need that. That's going to deteriorate slowly and chip away that stress that everyone is feeling. And you feel good knowing that you've helped somebody out, especially someone that you don't know. So with that, this is Carol Sue, AKA Naughty Boss, thanking Sandy for coming on as a guest speaker tonight. And I'm with
TwoSistas. And yes, it is Wealth Wellness Wednesday. Think beyond the buck. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.